When you think about who's shaping the future of AI education in America, the First Lady might not be the first person that comes to mind. But, well, that's exactly what's happening. So let's get into this really fascinating mix of AI, our schools, and the White House. Nope, that's not a line from some big sci-fi blockbuster. That's the actual message from Melania Trump when she launched a huge initiative to get AI into American classrooms. It's a pretty bold statement, and it really sets the stage for this bigger conversation about the promise and, yeah, the peril of this tech. Because let's be real, AI isn't just some buzzword anymore. It's a real force, and it's actively changing pretty much everything around us. And right at the heart of this story is a national push to get our kids ready for that future, led by one of the most recognizable people on the entire planet.
So, what's the big rush from the White House? To really get why this new AI challenge is a thing, we've got to look at the world it's being built for. A world where AI isn't science fiction anymore. It's just part of our daily lives.
And in her own announcement, the First Lady pointed to these very real examples. We're talking about cars that drive themselves, robotic arms helping out in surgery, and smart drones that are completely changing what war looks like. This isn't about what's coming someday. This is the tech that's here right now.
Okay, so with that as the backdrop, let's look at the positive side of this story. How do you actually get the next generation ready for this new reality? Well, according to the White House, the answer is the Presidential AI Challenge. And here it is. This is the official look for the Presidential AI Challenge. It's a national program, and the whole idea is to get students, all the way from kindergarten through high school, excited and actually working with artificial intelligence. So what's the big idea here? It's actually not just about coding. The official mission, and this is a quote from the guidebook, is to inspire students to unleash their imagination. That framing is super important. It's not just about the technical stuff. It's about making AI the next big frontier for American innovation.
So, how's this thing actually work? Well, it's broken down into a few main groups. You've got elementary, middle school, high school, and they even have a category for educators. And then participants can choose from two different tracks. Track 1 is all about the proposal. You come up with a deep plan for how AI could solve a problem in your community. Track 2 is more hands-on, where you actually build something, like an app or a website.
Okay, but here's where the story takes a turn. Why the big push for responsible AI education specifically? To answer that, you have to look at the darker side of this technology, the side that's a very real and growing threat. At the heart of this whole thing is something called a deepfake. And to put it simply, it's AI-generated media that looks so incredibly real, it can show people saying or doing things they never ever did. And the scary part? The tech to do this is getting easier and easier for anyone to get their hands on. And people are really feeling this anxiety. A recent Elon University poll found that a whopping 70% of Americans think AI-generated fake info is probably going to mess with the upcoming election. That's a huge number. This isn't some far-off threat. People see it as a danger right here, right now. And look, this isn't just some hypothetical problem. It's happening to real people. Major celebrities like Taylor Swift, Scarlett Johansson, and Selena Gomez have all been victims of non-consensual deepfakes. And it's not just for misinformation either. Comedian Steve Harvey's face and voice were used in AI-powered scams. It just shows you how personal and how damaging this can all get. So you can imagine, this has definitely raised some eyebrows. While the White House is promoting AI in classrooms, tech watchdogs are kind of pointing at the clock. The Federal Trade Commission is right now investigating how AI chatbots might be affecting kids' mental health. It makes you wonder if we're pushing this tech on children before we even know what the risks are. So you've got this massive threat bubbling up, from fake news to exploiting people's images, and now there's this urgent scramble to create some rules for the road. All that public pressure is finally starting to turn into actual proposals for new laws. And this is where it all kind of comes full circle. The very same public figure who's championing AI education is also getting behind legislation that's trying to control its most dangerous uses, aiming right at the creation of these non-consensual deepfakes. The big piece of legislation on the table is called the Take It Down Act. Now, on the one hand, the goal is pretty clear. Make it a federal crime to publish these nasty deepfakes and force social media platforms to get them down within 48 hours. But then you got the other side of the coin. Free speech groups have some serious worries. They argue the bill is so broad it could accidentally take down perfectly legal stuff, like journalism or even consensual content. And it might even threaten our privacy by messing with end-to-end encryption. Which brings us right back to the big question, right? Are we looking at a future of amazing innovation powered by AI, or are we just going to get buried by all the bad stuff that comes with it? When you strip it all away, here's what you're left with. AI is this incredible tool for learning and creating amazing things, but it's also a potential weapon for spreading lies and hurting people. The tech itself isn't good or bad. It's what we do with it that counts.
You know, at the end of the day, this isn't really a debate about technology. It's a debate about us. It's forcing us to ask some really tough questions. What does consent even mean when someone can perfectly copy you? Who owns art that a machine makes? And how do we protect human creativity in this wild new age?
And that's really the spot we're in. The robots are here, no doubt about it. The challenge for every single one of us is figuring out how we're going to live with them, how to use their incredible power for good while building the right fences to protect us from the harm they can cause. What's the right balance? That's the billion-dollar question.